Hello and welcome to Weird Around Illinois. Today we're going to talk about one of our favorite cryptids, Dogman, and we know a fair amount about Dogman, and we think a lot of our listeners do too, but just in case there are some things that you didn't know, let's go over the top 10 facts that you may not know about Dogman. Let's get weird. The first thing you might want to know about Dogman, if you don't already, is that the first official reported sighting of Dogman occurred in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. Now, I should specify that that is a sighting of Dogman. There might have been a sighting of a werewolf or a rougarou or any of the other terms that sometimes get compared to Dogman much sooner. Matter of fact, the first possible reporting of a man-wolf type creature appeared in the Tales of Gilgamesh, written in 2100 BC.
Oh.
Dogman may have been with us for quite a while, but even with that 1887 number, I think it's interesting because a lot of people want to write Dogman off as an internet cryptid. We've even had comments on our page before about, I never heard of Dogman before the internet. This is all made up.
Goes farther back than that.
Definitely.
Our second one on the list is Dogman is actually another term for someone who works with crane operators and riggers to move heavy loads.
Now that one, I kind of stumbled on that one by accident doing a Google search for Dogman once, and I'm like, wait, that's a job?
Yeah, that's actually an incredibly cool, extra term or name. I can't imagine how that came to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure it has something to do with, dogging down a load, which is, securing a load. But I just think it would be so cool if somebody asked you, what do you do for a living? And you said, I'm a dog man.
Yeah.
The next one is 33% of reported Dogman sightings occurred between 9 p.m. and midnight. That's from the North American Dogman Project.
Yeah, they've got all kinds of fascinating stats on that site. They claim to have compiled hundreds or even thousands of reports to get that information. I guess I'm not terribly surprised that so many sightings occur between 9 p.m. and midnight, because that seems like your best time to have both humans and nocturnal animals out at the same time.
Yeah, and that would also explain why so many people report Dogman in a car, or the human is in a car and they see Dogman on the road doing something.
Yeah, that's prime time for people to be driving home from whatever they're doing, whether going to dinner or out to a bar, party, show, whatever. Coming home between 9 p.m. and midnight, and there's Dogman on the road. Now, there are also a lot of sightings in the next block of time they had, which was midnight to 3 a.m. Not as many as this block, of course, but that kind of makes sense too, because it certainly seems like Dogman is nocturnal. The only reason I think it's a lower number between midnight and 3 a.m. is because there are less people out then to see them.
Yeah.
My guess is that you're just as likely to see a Dogman at 2 a.m. as you are at 10 p.m. So another fun fact about Dogman, 33% of Dogman sightings are reported by police and military. That's also from the North American Dogman Project. That's an important fact because these are what we would call credible witnesses or trained observers. These are people who are expected to be able to describe what they saw accurately, recognize what they're seeing. These are people, it's part of their job to observe and report.
And they didn't understand what they were looking at the time?
Or they understood it enough to say, hey, that's a Dogman.
Oh, yeah.
So I put a little bit more credence in those reports than I would in, some drunk guy wandering home.
I mean, that's a pretty high amount. And they're probably going all over the place traveling, so
True.
No wonder why.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, kind of relating back to that last fact with people on the roads at night. Who's on the road at night more than a policeman?
Well, number 5 on our list is Dogman has been reported in 45 states in the US and various areas in Canada. Now, for there to be more than one in 45 out of the 50 states, that is really insane. that there can't be that many people just drunk and seeing something weird on the road. That's way too common.
Yeah, and that's just the ones that would fall into the category of being Dogman. Those are the ones that people clearly define as being Dogman. There are other reports of, unnamed cryptids where people, hear something in the woods howling, or, they see something man-like and they're not sure if it's a Dogman or a Bigfoot or what. It's just big and hairy and moving through the woods. Those could be Dogman sightings too.
Yeah. Like in Illinois, like the Elk Grove Village one, someone just like heard a howl.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the sightings there, one of the reports there. People who spend a lot of time in the woods, they recognize howls. They can easily pick out, as we see on the shows all the time, oh, that's a coyote. Oh, that's 3 coyotes and a wolf. That's 2 coyotes, an owl, and a wolf. And, that's amazing the way they can pick these things out.
Yeah.
But when they get a howl that they don't recognize, then that's pretty significant.
So the next one is Dogman has been reported to have blue, green, or amber eyes.
Yeah, it seems like the Midwestern Dogman, the one reported most often in Michigan and Wisconsin, they seem to lean more toward that amber or orangish color. But there have been sightings elsewhere with blue eyes, green eyes.
Yeah, I feel like it would be more common for a werewolf to have the blue and green eyes if it's a human transforming into a different kind of animal.
That makes sense. That was kind of where I was thinking as well. I think that the full range of human eye colors might transfer to the Dogman if it were a werewolf.
Right.
I do find it interesting though that they don't mention brown, because they're brown-eyed humans, and I thought most canines had brown eyes. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. I don't know.
Maybe it's just that nobody has cited that. It's just,
or it could be that the orange, like from light, kind of reflects that brown a little bit. Makes it look more orange.
That makes sense. Our next fact is Dogman is reported to be between 7 and 10 feet tall. Now, all the ones I've heard of around here are more in the 7-foot range, but as you get further north, kind of like with Bigfoot, they seem to get bigger and bigger. And so there are reports of different types of Dogman that can be as tall as 10 feet. And I think even in that area of Kentucky that I mentioned in another podcast, the land between the lakes, there were some theories that Dogman was bigger than normal. Like that was an 8 or 9 foot tall one. Making some people think it may have been a Sasquatch instead of a Dogman.
Number 8 on our list is legends say that Dogman appears every 10 years.
I think it's on years ending in 7 as well.
So what exactly does ending in 7 mean?
Well, like 2007, 2017, 2027.
Oh, okay.
I had never heard that one before we started actually researching this list.
Yeah, I've never heard that about Dogman or a werewolf before. Ending in 2000 something.
Yeah, so 2027, I think we have a trip to Bray Road we have to mark on our calendar.
Yeah. That's gotta be a really long wait though, just for one Dogman.
I have a feeling it's probably not totally true though, because there's a lot of sightings that happen other years. I mean,
I agree.
The Holy Hill sightings, for example, a lot of them happened in like 2014, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just kind of too many reasons. Like, oh, you have to come on a full moon or like a red moon or whatever it's considered.
Plus, where do they go for 10 years? I mean, is this legend part of the theory that it's some sort of werewolf and the person stays human for 10 years and just becomes a wolf for 1? Or are they like cicadas? They like bury themselves underground for 10 years and then come out for a week and then die?
Well, I have heard theories that they might go into caves and live like in cave systems, but I don't know.
All right. Well, it's a weird one, but again, we'll be paying special attention in 2027.
So the next one is number 9, which is 44% of dogmen are black in color. That's according to Dark Waters, is an assessment of 650 reports.
Yeah, I mean, I've always seen in images, different reports that I've read, that it's almost a dark hair with a little bit of like gray somewhere, mainly in the fur. Seems almost like similar to just an animal in the wilderness, or like a wolf, just gray and black.
Yeah, based on the reports that I've seen and heard, I'm actually thinking that number's a little low. I mean, I'm having trouble remembering a Dogman that wasn't mostly black.
Yeah, I think most of them are probably like brown. I've heard some that are like partially gray.
Okay.
If there's one that's brown, I'd be almost convinced that it could have been a bear sighting.
Or a Bigfoot.
Or a Bigfoot too. You know, Dogman is known for using all fours sometimes.
Right.
Every once in a while, and it's very similar to somewhat similar to a bear. I think a bear might be a little way bigger in terms of like width and size.
And that's what makes these facts so difficult to sort out sometimes, is that, Dark Waters has 650 reports. That doesn't mean that all 650 of those reports were 100% accurate and 100% sure that they were looking at a Dogman. They could have been looking at a bear. They could have been looking at a Bigfoot. They could have been looking at something else entirely. And we don't know the credibility of each of those 650 reports. Maybe out of 650, there were 100 that were rock solid sure of what they were looking at, saw it up close and personal, and they know that was a Dogman. And of those 100 reports, maybe 80 of them were black. You just don't know.
And like 300 of them were just like they're driving down the road and they saw a very dark figure going into the forest, and they couldn't quite make out what the shape was.
Right.
Yeah, that's hard to say when they haven't seen the Dogman actually like running. Because you mainly would have to see it run on only 2 legs to actually know for sure if it's a Dogman or not.
Yeah.
That's one factor.
That's the big differentiator, I think, because, a bear cannot run on 2 legs. It can stand, and it can walk a couple steps, but it's not going to chase anybody on 2 legs. It's going to drop to 4 and start galloping, or, whatever you call a bear's stride. Bigfoot runs, but he doesn't run like a Dogman. You can, based on what I've seen, you can tell a Bigfoot from a Dogman running pretty easily. So we'll have to make note of that. Running Dogman reports carry more weight. Our final fact that you may not know about Dogman, number 10, is that some reports feature Dogman pulling on car door handles or turning doorknobs to try to get into cars or houses.
Oh no, Dogman has a sense of intelligence.
Yeah. I guess it elevates Dogman above that level of animal to something of greater intelligence that could be even more dangerous.
Yeah, for there to be a few reports of that, now I'm questioning if Dogman is actually some source of intelligence, which would also kind of fuel the idea of being government created.
True.
Because it's kind of like natural versus like government. You think that Dogman would just be, in the wilderness trying to find food, as we've talked about before, or it's government, which having a sense of intelligence would be evidence towards that.
Yeah, and let's face it, if you're creating a super soldier, you don't want it to be able to be stopped by a closed door.
Right, so they give it some way to figure it out and turn the doorknob.
Right.
Push.
Does Dogman inherently know when to push and when to pull? That's the next question.
I certainly can't figure that out.
Yeah, that would prove that it has superior to human intelligence. So that's our list of 10 fun facts about Dogman that you may not already know. If you've got some other facts to add to this list, we'd love to hear them. If there were some facts that particularly caught you off guard, we'd love to hear about that too. As always, we thank you for listening and thank you for subscribing. And by the way, remember to subscribe to our newsletter if you want to get some additional content or just find out what we're up to on a given week. Thank you.